Happy New Year. It's Monday, January 2nd. We are back with the Plant Based Morning Show. Looking forward to a fun and energetic and plant based 2023. So I'm very excited. Well rested today. A couple of nights, good sleep in a row. So I'm having a good time. I hope Doug is as well. He'll be joining us in just a minute. Let's see what he's got in store. Is it possible that Doug in the new year is not doing his normal tricks? Okay, there he is. Oh, he is doing
Hey,
tricks.
Matt,
There he
Happy
is.
New Year. Happy 2023. I
Wow.
can't see a thing. I really
Beautiful.
can't see anything out of these glasses. So,
No? Yeah, they're not really very useful glasses, are they? Oh, you must have made those. Are those
I know I
homemade by
did
you?
make these. No, they are
So you actually
from
bought those.
from my New Year's Eve festivities. They were free on a bar.
Wow. And they don't even bother to make the glasses transparent. You just
There's
useless
there's
glasses.
little holes in there, but
Oh, you can see a
I
little
mean
bit. Okay.
so you can see light. You can see like a figure, a person,
That's good.
but
That's
I
useful.
couldn't make out who they are.
Good. Good. Well, part of me was hoping, I don't know, I shouldn't say hoping, was thinking maybe because I saw that in the live stream before you jump on Instagram, I saw you didn't have any props or anything. It looked like because you put those on last minute, and I was thinking maybe Doug in the New Year's is moving away from this little stunt where every
Oh,
time he comes in he
hoping.
does something goofy.
Oh no.
But it looks
Uh-oh.
like that is not your resolution. Oh no, Doug, I lost you in Instagram. Let's see, off to a little bit of a rocky start with that. Then let's see. Doug, where are you? Okay. Doug, why don't you? Okay, it says you're requesting. It's odd that you're requesting because you're actually here still, in my view. Sorry, everyone, for the delay. Hey, okay, he back.
I'm back. I got too offended by you hoping that.
No, I wasn't hoping. I just was thinking. I was thinking maybe that was what was going on.
No, I got too offended, so I had to bounce. Anyway.
All right. Well, sure enough, it is 2023. We're 2 days into it now. Well, we're one full day and a little bit in. Did you have any fun New Year's, Doug? Any big celebrations or anything, or just a quiet evening at home with the girls?
You know, I had a complete pivot from we spoke Friday, which was New Year's Eve, the 30th, right?
Well, I don't.
It was the
actually remember what
last
it
live show we did.
Yeah, that would have been the 30th. That's right.
And so at that point, I was not planning to do anything. We were playing for a quiet night in. I told you I didn't think I would even make it till midnight.
Right.
Well, we decided to rally. My mom came over and watched the kids, and we went to an adult only New Year's Eve party, which
Wow.
which was very nice, and
Oh, yeah?
danced my way into 2023.
Wow. Good for you.
Ended
All
up at a bar where I got these fancy glasses.
Oh, okay.
Some
Good.
indoor sparkler action going on. It was a wonderful evening.
Very nice. And you went to bed at a decent hour, I hope. Saw the ball drop and then got to bed.
We did see the wall drop, and within like 10 minutes, you're like, okay, yeah, we're going home. We did our thing. We're going home.
Yeah.
But it was still later than it should have been. It was a later night than I had anticipating, and woke up quite groggy on the morning of the first. But it was worth it. It was worth it to dance my way into 2023.
Right.
I haven't
Sure.
done that in a little while.
And how did your pull-ups go on the first day of the challenge of the new year?
Pull-ups have started on the 31st.
Wow. Okay. Look at that.
Yeah.
So you got a bar. You went out and played against sports and got one.
No, I ordered a bar, and I'm actually going to return it because I realized that it doesn't fit on the door frame. I want it in my office, and the walls are cinder block, so they're bigger than the standard door frame. So I'm going to return it. I'm going to have to find a new solution. But yeah, the 31st and on the 1st, for those who weren't here on the 30th, I pledged to get back into my 5 pull-up resolution. I need to be able to do 5 pull-ups by the end of the year. I failed at that last year because I didn't really give it a real go, or maybe it was 2 years ago. But I'm off to a good start. I spent time down at the outdoor pull-up bar in my neighborhood, both on the 31st and on the 1st, doing a real workout, really trying to get into it to get that strengthened. So I'm off to a good start, I'd say. Matt, how are you?
Right.
How
Good.
about you?
I'm glad to hear that. So I've been doing some every day, a little bit of workouts with my the new barbell that Aaron got me, and my other stuff I already have. Not back in any sort of full workout swing, but I'm ready to get going with that. I thought, so my dad and his wife were here for the last 4 days or so, and we just, kept it low key, stayed in, but did stay up till midnight. I did, at least, with Holden and Aaron. And like you, as soon as the ball dropped, we were like, okay, immediately to bed. Like my teeth were brushed. I was ready to go. So that as soon as it went, I could just get in bed, which is what I did. Got into my little pod, my sleep hug pod, and just dozed off and slept very solidly. And then I did again. I've hit nights, I think 6 and 7 with the sleep pod. And they say 5 days is what it takes to get used to it. And my past 2 nights have been great. I haven't woke up or anything. Just been wonderful. So I'm definitely encouraged by that and excited about sleeping well in this new year. I did not, because we had guests in town, I did not do any sort of normal like time reflecting on the past year, which I always really do value. That's one of the reasons I like New Year so much. I guess I would rather have people visiting. So I'm not regretting that we had people here. But I feel like I still need to do that kind of stuff now. And you have informed me that today is a day off for our company. So that is good. We were mistaken. We thought we were working today, but we're not. We're just doing this. So I'm going to spend some time after this quiet time because now family's back, just us. But for the purposes of the show, I just wanted to figure out something I could announce as a challenge resolution. So I've got one. I've got the perfect one for this show.
Oh,
yeah, okay. I have two. The smaller one is, I'm not going to, for a month at least, just this January, my version of Veganuary or dry January, whatever you want to call it. What I'm doing is I want to not miss a workout, or I want to do something every day in January. That's my goal. So I'm going to do my, stuff, workouts probably 5 days a week like I was. Want to get back to that. But I want to just keep doing stuff every day. So I'm going to have no days off in January at least. See how that goes. But the bigger one, the one that's
no days off, that's a good name for a YouTube channel.
That would be good. And they could put my son on it if only that channel existed.
Well, that's cool. That's an exciting one. I like that.
Yes, but the better one.
What does it consist? Hold on, before we move on from that one, what does it consist of? Like when you say no days off, does that mean like a walk? Would that count, or did it have to be a workout?
No, a walk wouldn't count. A walk wouldn't count. But if I just went and did, I don't know, a couple sets of pull-ups and a deadlift set, that's good enough. That's fine. Mm-hmm. This is not going to be my everyday workout thing. It's not. It's my whole thing is not based on this no days off routine. It's just something I think would help me maintain a good mindset and keep a workout habit moving. But in general, I'll just do that one where I was doing 5 things, 2 sets of each, and do that most days. So that's my unexciting one. My exciting one for this show is for the month of January, I'm going to swear off plant meats entirely. No fake meats for the whole month. I know.
What?
Just dropped a bomb. The Plant-Based Morning Show.
Oh my God! What are we going to talk about, man? I don't know.
We can still talk about it. I'm not so addicted. I don't think that I'd be triggered just by talking about the news. But you know what? So this ties into, Bianca just asked me if I made black-eyed peas and cabbage. I don't know why she's calling it my dish, because I've actually never done it on New Year's before. I didn't grow up doing that. Since I've moved to the South, I've learned about that as a tradition. Mm-hmm. But this actually was the first time that I actually did do that. I made black-eyed peas, and I think it's typically, according to Doug, black-eyed peas and collards. I didn't have any collards. I just made a black-eyed peas pot of stuff, and it was actually very good. I enjoyed it. In order to get good luck, I did it, and somehow I don't know if it was that very dish, but I just started thinking, and I pulled out the Blue Zones American Kitchen book, which I've done a little bit of, but just not really gotten into. But it's just like such good stuff. There's no fake meat in it. It's just really good whole ingredients. And I just thought I really want to make more food like this, but it just becomes so easy to like just throw the tofurkey sausage into a pasta, and like that's our dinner. So I just figured a month without that would be a good thing for me. What I'm allowing myself is if I travel anywhere, which I will likely do 1 or 2 weekends for soccer. I'm okay if I need to get a burger, get a Whopper, Impossible Whopper, or whatever. So if it's traveling,
nothing at home. You're an at-home.
Nothing at home, and not even out at home. Like if I'm traveling, then I'm good with it. But yeah, I just figured it'd be a good thing to see what it feels like to not rely on that stuff.
Well, it's unfortunate news, Matt, because I just saw that Burger King's bringing the long chicken into. No, I'm just kidding.
I was thinking, where can I travel? I need to plan a travel trip if that.
Suddenly you're traveling every weekend.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I like that goal a lot. I think, it's funny. We talked about this, I don't know, at the end of the year, kind of how at first when we started doing the show, we were eating a ton of the plant meats, and then kind of naturally we shifted away from them almost just because we had, I think, maybe OD'd on them a little bit.
Yeah.
Overdone it a bit, and I'm feeling that same way. It's like they're not as exciting to me as they were when at the beginning of the show when we were first talking about them, and I'm feeling much more fulfilled by the whole food. So I like that goal. I have not set a goal like that, but I like it, and I look forward to hearing how that changes for you, how that changes your perception for you.
Good.
I also did black eyed peas on yesterday, New Year's Day. We ended up going to my mom's, so I ended up not mom's for dinner, and she did black eyed peas, cabbage, and cornbread. Cornbread apparently is another one that is common because it's gold, right?
Okay.
And it was delicious, really good. Actually,
cornbread is delicious.
Well, the whole thing was delicious. I don't cook,
even though it wasn't a burrito, it wasn't wrapped up in any way or seasoned with any Mexican flavors, but you still ate it and enjoyed it.
I still ate it, and
wow.
Remarkably, I did enjoy it. maybe that should be my January goal, is to not have any
Tex-Mex,
anything in a tortilla. No, but how often do you cook cabbage?
Once every 2 months, I'll make this red cabbage dish.
Okay. I hardly ever make cabbage. I will do cabbage during the summer, like in a salad, raw cabbage and stuff. But I just so rarely cook cabbage. And but I don't know. After yesterday's meal, I'm kind of convinced that
cabbage is really good. It's just a tasty vegetable when it is cooked nicely.
Bianca had the same meal I had. That's great.
I saw that. I also saw Bianca. I love this New Year's resolution. Run a 50 miler. First of all, I could take or leave that one, but live the Blue Zones principles. I'm reading the Blue Zones challenge book. And I think that every year I think about that as New Year's time. I think I'm going to do a Blue Zones year where I just do Blue Zones. It always is a little too broad, I guess, for me to actually stick to as a resolution. And I've never actually said that's what I'm doing. But I always think the rereading of the original Blue Zones book would be a nice move around New Year's. But I've never made that last. But I think that's the right way to think about goals, in my opinion. I just think it's good.
Yep. Volcanoes and Fireweed, who happens to be my sister, said cabbage and not collards. And we got to talk to Mom. She did cabbage and not collards. I don't know where she got that idea, but yeah, it was good. It was delicious.
It's a little weird. All right, good. Well, then at least we know we've sealed in our luck for the year, Doug. So by having black eyed peas, that is a good thing. Today, what we've got to talk about. By the way, once I do some more thinking, I'll probably have some more meaningful sort of things, and I will happily share those. But I just wanted to have something small. I like a nice month-long challenge. So if you don't have a resolution yet, stop thinking about the whole year and just think about the month. What could you do for 1 month, like a Veganuary or a dry January type of thing, where you don't have to it doesn't have to be a whole year. You just start your year off by doing a 1 month challenge, and that hopefully would set you sort of on a course for a good month. A good whole rest of your year. So I figured we'd talk about Veganuary today. Someone requested that near the end of last month. Could we do a Veganuary type episode, even if it's not news? And there actually is a little bit of Veganuary news, which I shouldn't be surprised by. Some of it is positive, some of it's negative. We don't need to spend too long on the negative one, but I just got a little chuckle we always count on the Daily Mail to give us something like this. The headline, the very just subdued, low-key, not sensational headline is, ditching meat and animal products for Veganuary this year may make you depressed, cause higher risk of broken bones and miscarriages, experts warn, as 1 in 8 Britons aged 18 to 24 plan to take up the diet. So that just sounds like impending doom, Doug. This is terrible.
This is good. Happening. This is good headline inspiration for me as I think about what articles to write in the new year and what emails to write. Right. If I can make every headline that I write hit on so many sensational things, then I feel like I'm doing a good job.
Yeah. There's a huge logical leap that the headline makes, which is that if you do Veganuary, you are subjecting yourself to these things that they later say can happen within several months of becoming vegan. So that's problem number one. And if you look into the article more, again, this is Daily Mail. That was the long headline. If you just look up Daily Mail Veganuary, you could find it if you're interested. The whole thing hinges on this one thing. It can lead to potentially dangerous vitamin deficiency within months. This is because animal products contain vitamin B12, a nutrient which is crucial to healthy bodily function, but plant-based foods contain little to none of it. So if we lived in a perfect world and you could just take a pill and get B12, then sure, it'd be a good diet. But unfortunately, it appears no one has invented such a pill yet. So it's not a practical diet for anyone to do. And you're going to have miscarriages and bone problems and depression.
Absolutely. If only there was a way to get vegan B12.
I know. Right. It'd be so easy, but we can dream.
Yeah. But there was a better Veganuary headline that
yeah. This one actually I thought was going to be the same way. This is from independent.co.uk, and I don't know what the Independent is or what Independent is. I think in my head lumped it in with Daily Mail and Mirror and some of these other ones, which I don't even think are all the same political bias. I think they're just British, and I just assume they're all going to be like this. But this one says, is Veganuary even affordable this year? That was the question given by their headline. And I thought this is a silly thing. They're going to say that the vegan diet is too expensive. Therefore, don't even bother with Veganuary this year. Not practical. But it was not that. It's just that was their little clickbaity headline, I guess. And it's actually just a bunch of tips for how can you make this diet affordable in the face of inflation and all these other economic things that make it harder to maybe eat the foods that we'd like to eat. So they just give some good tips, which we can get into those tips if we want. But I'm actually curious if anyone here is actually doing Veganuary. I would imagine most of our audience is plant-based or mostly plant-based to begin with. So I don't know how much a need there is for a Veganuary among our audience, but if people are, I'd be interested to hear it. I don't know, Doug. I mean, go ahead.
I haven't heard many people talk about Veganuary this year. Have you?
No, but I don't think I ever really hear about it. I mean, I just don't. I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't know where do people talk about it? I guess on social media there would be some discussions about it.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I feel like it's just been people haven't been talking about it as much, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
Okay. Well, I did happen to find a suggested article from Independent, which is the site we were just on. That headline is "Why I Won't Be Doing Veganuary This Year or Ever Again" by Hannah Twiggs, also from Independent. And the subheadline, I haven't read the article, but that subheadline says, "My main gripe is that the issue of our broken food system has never been binary. It's not as simple as meat bad, plants good." I would agree with that, but that doesn't mean that we can't be served by a 30-day challenge that is somewhat further along the extreme side of the spectrum, because then you experience that and then you can come back to a point that's comfortable. But now you kind of have learned the skill of eating less meat. So I would argue against Hannah in that way. But I have not heard.
That's like saying cars aren't the only issue in global warming. Therefore, I will always. I don't know. That's just giving up. That's giving up way too easy. So.
Yeah, and it's like I said, a 30-day running streak is terrible because it's not as simple as running good and not running bad. So you should never therefore do a streak.
Yeah.
Anyway, but who knows? Maybe she's got more points than that. But anyway, for those
Plant Powered Pantry says that January 1st is their 23 years vegan, which I love. Well, for many reasons. 23 years is a really long time, and congratulations on that. But I also love it because that's a January 1st. That's a New Year's resolution that turned into a lifelong thing here.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So that's cool.
Very good. Way to go, Plant Powered Pantry. Good. Okay. So anyway, I don't know. Are there any tips for Veganuary, Doug, that we could give? I was trying to think about this, and it's hard. I recognize this problem that it's not that easy for us to go back and imagine we were not vegan or not vegetarian even yet, and saying, knowing what we know now, what we say. It's just not that easy, right? There's this problem that you forget what your mindset even was. So it's hard to give advice. I don't know. The habit change advice doesn't really apply because if you're doing Veganuary, presumably you're doing it all in. There's no small step, ease your way into this thing. I guess you could do that, but if you're really doing Veganuary, you're just going for it. So the money saving tips are useful if that's going to make it hard for you to get through the month. My biggest tip there would be just don't buy the fake vegan stuff. Like I said, like that. I don't know. Like it might make it easier, and there might be some times when you want to do that. But if you want to save money, just don't buy fake vegan meat and fake cheese, because that's anything packaged like that is going to just be expensive. But produce and beans and grains, that stuff's all really cheap. So that's the cost one. And the other one for me would be get like recipes. I don't think, Doug, you're the recipe. You don't rely on recipes the way I do. But I know a lot of people who like try to be vegan and they just make the worst food you can make because they just start combining a can of beans with into a bowl with something else, and then they just put hot sauce on it. Like that's fine, but you're not gonna. I don't know. I would find recipes. There are tons of them nowadays, online, free, and like just find some recipes, plan some meals, and then cook them. Rather than just trying to like become a vegan cook on your own without any inputs.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I was when I was thinking about tips, because my first inclination was don't be hard on yourself and take it slow and blah blah blah, and then I was like, no, that's the whole point, is to go all in and go big and kind of cut it out. Right. So so then I was trying to think of tips around people who are just not comfortable cooking a meal without meat in it, and so my first idea was to encourage people to get creative, kind of go big, like get a bunch of recipes that are different and exciting and fun, and things you wouldn't have cooked otherwise, and kind of maybe challenge you and use it as an excuse to like try new foods and try different types of foods and different types of meals that you wouldn't cook otherwise. And that is great. I think that is a good way to do it if you're hyped up. But the problem is that's not very sustainable. Like people are just going to run out of time. They're going to start dreading the cooking and all that. And so then I was like, oh no, that's actually kind of terrible advice. But I would, and so then I was like, okay, find your staples, find the three recipes or 4 recipes that you can cook without a recipe, that you can just kind of whip up very easily, whether that's burritos, like we have in our family, or a pasta
burritos,
dish,
tacos, nachos, some other
quesadillas, yeah.
Whichever those it may be.
Enchiladas, which any of those are fine. They're fully acceptable. Or a pasta dish or something like that, whatever it is, like find a couple of those and get really comfortable cooking those during the first week, so you can rely on them throughout the rest of the month. But so then I kind of, like I said, I went, at first I was like, let's go big with a bunch of new challenging recipes. And then I was like, no, find your comfort stuff. I think probably the answer is somewhere in the middle. Have a night or two that you have scheduled on the calendar that you're going to try a totally new recipe that's outside the box for you, and maybe some foods or greens or something that you don't typically cook. And then fill everything in with everything else in with a few staples. I know that's not groundbreaking advice. It's probably how most people cook anyway. Yeah, I mean, what you want to do if you want to be successful at this is you want to assume that the hype is or the like excitement is gonna diminish pretty rapidly after the first week. And so use that first week when you have a lot of excitement and motivation to prepare yourself for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, even thinking about this, to me, it like makes me a little discouraged. I just think about like this. No matter how good our advice might be, or the right advice for the right person, like it's just hard to go from like assuming you're just eating standard American diet, which hopefully not everybody probably is, or there's probably a lot of people who already eat mostly vegetarian or something, and now they're just going to go a little further. Those people have staple meals perhaps that they can quickly veganize by removing 1 or 2 things, and then they've suddenly did what you did. They have a couple of meals now they can fall back on, and they can also be more adventurous with others. But if you're just like trying to go from 0 to 60 on January 1st, that would be really, really hard, right? Like you wouldn't really know where to begin. And I guess what you could do is find a recipe and make it, and then the next day find a new one, and eventually hope one of those has become your staple. But hopefully you've got some amount of cooking experience. I don't know. I think probably I wouldn't suggest Veganuary as the way to change if you're an omnivore and you just don't cook yourself much. If you're just coming from nothing, I would ease your way into it. But at the same time, I'm glad people are wanting to try.
Yeah, I mean, several people who are listening here today, I think, at least a couple of them, had success with Veganuary, or their parents did.
Yeah.
Because every time we talk about it, we hear success stories.
Yep.
But I guess it depends on where they kind of started from, where they kind of went in from. But I think Veganuary can be awesome. We can get you excited for a month and kind of throw you in the deep end, and you learn how to swim a little bit, and then after once February hits, you can kind of find the right balance for you, or take a step back from it, and whatever works for you. But yeah, I mean, if you have questions, we have a lot of recipes on No Meat Athlete. We have some recipes on Compliment, lovecompliment.com. Of course, there's also plenty of recipes anywhere that you Google vegan recipes. But our meal plan, the No Meat Athlete meal plan, if you go to nomeatathlete.com,
the free one, right?
The free one, yeah. If you go to nomeatathlete.com, is it /meal plan? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
/vegan-meal-plan. The stress-free plant-based plan. It's actually a really good approach for how to take the stress out of your cooking. It's your philosophy around the foods to eat every day, and then also then we provide a bunch of recipe ideas and food ideas.
I was just thinking that literally what people need, I think, if I was going to give someone a tool, and by the way, there is a tool. Veganuary, I think, has made the vegan kit, which you can go buy for $15. I think it's like a deck of cards kind of deal. I'm sure it's on Amazon, but anyway, I don't know if you need to pay for that stuff. But if it helps you, maybe it does. But I think what people need is like a list of hand-picked recipes and says, here are the 5 or 10 that might become staples because they're so easy, like a stir fry, a pasta dish, and they're sort of flexible. And then maybe 20 others or 50 others that are like, these are good and they're tested and like they're not too hard and they don't have crazy ingredients, but they're decent and they'll be a little bit more work for you if you've never cooked before. That would be about as good a tool as I think you could give somebody. We should make that.
We should
scramble to make it.
Mountain Football Kid suggests maybe subscribing to something like Purple Carrot for a few meals each month. That could help.
There we go. Look at that. My son, Mountain Football Kid, chiming in with advice on the show.
Yeah, good advice too.
I like it. And then my mom, my family's full of good advice. My mom wrote a tip: eat like your life depends on it, and that's what my mom does because she, when she was found that she had a huge blockage in her artery, she kind of went plant-based that day, and honestly has not come back at all. She just gets healthier and healthier with her food. So she is a good example of if her life actually did depend on it. So she started eating this way. So if you can simulate that in your own mind, pretend that if you have one bad meal, you're dying, probably will help you stick to the healthy food.
And then the Plant Powered Pantry is waving the mushroom flag here, and said don't forget about the mushrooms. So good advice there too.
I did see some really good mushroom dishes in my Who Owns American cookbook, Who Owns American Kitchen. And we have this new place called Super G Mart that opened up near our house. It's a giant grocery store, all of just international foods. And they have all kinds of mushrooms there. King mushrooms, like those ones that people make scallops out of. Those long mushrooms that look kind of like sprouts almost. They're so long. They had those. All kinds of stuff. So I'm pretty excited about that. And maybe that was behind this no vegan meat challenge of mine.
Well, that's exciting. That's cool. Maybe I got to take a road trip down to the...
That would be fun. You should do it.
All right.
They're going to have Eat-In Cafe pretty soon. They don't have it yet, but it's going to be there. Doug, one more tip type question, then we can probably wrap this up. I'm curious to know what you think about people trying exotic type ingredients. Maybe that's not the right word. Health food ingredients. Like when I tell someone I'm vegan at a restaurant, if it's like a mainstream kind of restaurant, often I will get the response like, can you eat pasta? Because, and I don't think they're thinking about eggs. They're thinking that's gluten-free or that's not gluten-free. And they mix that up. So when I first went vegetarian, or at least did a challenge that got me to start No Meat Athlete and start eating this way, it had things like, eat, rice noodles instead of regular noodles. And I forget what else was there, but it was just like, start eating greens powder, like all this stuff that was just like a little bit outside of my comfort zone. And I did it, but in hindsight, I was thinking like, it probably would have been easier if I just stuck to most of my regular foods and didn't try to also venture out into like these different foods, and there's tons of those now. Now you can get the Banza pasta we talk about all the time.
Right.
You can get pasta made out of veggie. Like, is there any reason to go extra mile and like experience like full on vegan, like, nerd guy, girl? Like,
Level
I'm just
5
like
vegan. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Or should you just kind of keep it as easy as possible, make it technically vegan, but otherwise don't get too far away. I don't know. I think a little disruption. I think it's kind of fun to feel like you're eating really healthy, even if that stuff is arguable whether or not it actually helps. Yeah, I'd say you should leave some room for that stuff. I wouldn't totally write that off. But
no,
at the same time,
I would agree.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, if you can't get a gluten-free pasta somewhere, don't worry about it. Just make regular pasta. It's fine.
Yeah. No, I would definitely agree. I think that stuff is fun to explore with, and if you're using this as an opportunity to try new things and try new foods and try new flavors and that kind of stuff, like run with that to a degree. The big thing here is, like, if it's harder to cook and you don't let that discourage you, because you can basically you can eat very simply on a vegan diet and not with all this exotic stuff. So if it's harder to cook, or if it's more expensive, or if you don't like the flavor, right? Like if you eat the chickpea pasta and you decide that's not for you, like don't okay, veganism isn't
or
right
too
for me.
expensive. I discovered the price of the Banza we've been buying, and I said, we're done with that. That is out for 2023. Back to regular pasta. It's $5 for a half a pound box. That's $10 a pound instead of $1.50 a pound that we're used to paying.
Yeah. We don't, for that very reason. We it's a splurge item for us. Yeah. But I mean, right? Like, if it's too expensive, or if it doesn't taste right, like, don't let that discourage you. Do you remember the article we read? We talked about where somebody tried veganism for 10 days, something like that, with his family.
Yes.
And he was like, no, I'm never gonna do it again. And we were reading it, and the stuff he was eating was just like totally weird and crazy. And like, no wonder it didn't taste good. No wonder your family wouldn't eat it. Like, we went way overboard. And I think that so that's the only fear, is like people will do that and then get discouraged and not want to stick with it, right? But if you can use it as an opportunity to try like a new green that you've never had before, or a new type of mushroom or something like that, because it's in the recipe, like, I think that's cool, that's fun. Run with it and have fun with it.
Yep, I think you should do that stuff to the extent that it energizes you and makes you excited to make this trip to go get this ingredient because you're going to cook with it. That's fine. But if it's just a pain, then just don't worry about it, because you do not need to have that all stuff to be plant-based or vegan.
Yep, exactly. Use it if you've never been to like a Latin or a Hispanic market, or if you've never been to an Asian market or something like that. Use it as an excuse to go to these kind of different grocery stores and get different flavors, because the recipes are in there, and have fun with it. But
that was the best part when I went vegetarian, that I just started going to restaurants that I had been in my town forever, and I just ignored them because I wanted to go to Applebee's or Outback, and like. But now I had to go to this Thai place because that had tofu. And so I went there, and then I discovered Thai food. So it can be a good thing.
Yeah, totally.
All right, Doug. I think we should wrap it up. But we haven't really mentioned dry January. I hinted a little bit about doing some sort of damp January challenge. I must admit, I have made no structure around that yet. I have a ton of non-alcoholic beers that are ready to be deployed. But just yesterday, I drank some regular red wine with dinner. And because we still had family visiting, so I was treating it still as celebration time. I did drink a non-alcoholic beer yesterday. I had a porter. I forget the name of the company, but then I went on to the wine. The wine. I don't know, but I really do want to do that. Maybe it doesn't need any structure, but I don't know. I just like stuff that makes you, I don't know, builds a solid foundation, right? Because if I can sleep well and be in a good mood and all this stuff, then the rest of my year is going to be good for other reasons. So I'm going to figure out something to do with damp January, but I haven't yet.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you should.
We talked about it. We've talked about this plenty. I haven't heard you say, "Well, I'm joining you in that, Matt."
Well, I am joining you, but I haven't come up with a structure that works for me, because I don't want to commit to nothing.
Yeah,
and I don't even want to commit to, like, not even during the weekday, because I love my guys' night out. So that's like I haven't quite figured out the structure. That's why I haven't said I'm going to commit with you. But maybe I don't know. Let's think about it. Let's talk about it. If people have ideas, if anyone wants to join us on that, I'm sure we have people who are some non-drinkers here, but if anybody wants to do that with us, that'd be fun. Yeah.
Damp January.
Damn January.
All right. Steven says, got my girlfriend a Ruby subscription for Christmas and she loves it. Thanks for the tip.
Oh, right on.
That was in our gift guide, wasn't it?
It sure was.
Very nice. And again, Steven has a girlfriend. That's second mention ever on the show of this girlfriend. One day she needs a request to join live so we can have her join us.
All right. Well,
any other news from anybody? Not really.
No, I think
good.
I think we should wrap it here. Good way to kick off 2023. Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting year for this podcast, for the show.
It is. I am excited about this year for a lot of reasons. One of which is the show and what we do with this. So, stay tuned. Stuff will be good.
Yep.
And I'm gonna remember to put the podcast up. I forgot entirely to put up the one we did on Friday the 30th. So I will put that up, and then I'll put this up, and we'll be back on track.
All right, sounds great.
All right.
Now I'm going to dispose of these plastic glasses.
Yeah, please do that.
Or
you can repurpose. You could fill in the 3 and get an 8, and then 5 years.
Yeah, just hang on to them for the next 5 years. Talk about wasteful glasses that have a year on them. But at least I got 2 uses out of them, right? New Year's Eve and then tonight. So
yeah, there you go. Good job. Upcycling. Yeah. Is that upcycling? No.
I don't know, but all right.
Well, happy New Year.
Everybody.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.